Okay, so hello everyone. This is the September HMIS user meeting. If you haven't already, please enter your agency's name in the chat box so we know who is participating. And we are going to go ahead and get started. So here's our agenda. We have a bunch of updates for you. So we're just going to jump right in. First is the Clarity migration update. We're waiting for final confirmation from Bitfocus that all of the services have been migrated in correctly. So we'll provide an update probably through email when that occurs. And then for coordinated entry, Bitfocus provided us with feedback on the exports we sent them. So we've made the corrections to those exports and we've resent them back. So now we're waiting for the test migration to be completed so we can move forward. And for the family coordinated entry documentation, if you'll recall, we were separating all the documents out so each one could be migrated in individually into Clarity. So that's been completed. And the next step is going to be for us to compile that into a spreadsheet and an export and send that to Bitfocus so we can get that process started. Also, as of September 1st, any new coordinated entry documentation that you have for any of your clients should be entered directly into HMIS. You should no longer be sending documents to 211 OC or the county because that functionality is now available. And we do have a Knowledgebase article with instructions on how to do that in HMIS, but I'm also going to show you really quickly where you should be adding that information. Okay, so if you're in Clarity, you're going to search for your client, and if they already exist, then you would just click on Edit and then go straight to the Files page. Click on Add File. Make sure your category is Coordinated Entry Documentation and select your correct document type from the name dropdown. I'm going to do chronically homeless verification. Then you would just select the file and find it on your computer and click on Add Record, and the document has been added. And so that's it. I don't know why the font is weird on this one, but if you click on it, it actually shows the correct information. So that's really it to add a file for coordinated entry documentation. And if the client isn't already in HMIS, you would just have to search for them, make sure they're not there, and then add the client on the profile page. And once you do that and add their client consent form, then you'll be able to go to the file page and add the coordinated entry documentation. Let's stop really quick and see if there's any questions on that part. Looks like no, so I'm going to keep going. Feel free to add any questions as you think of them. Oops. Okay, next up. Hopefully most of you already know this, but we're going to be looking at project performance data at the upcoming data and performance management meetings. So what this means is that every other month we're going to bring performance data for a different project type to the data meeting. We're going to review performance for each project, see how they compare to the thresholds, if they need to improve, if the data just doesn't look right, and then at the meeting, we'll come up with suggestions for how to improve performance outside of any data quality issues that may be occurring. So if performance actually is low, what can be done to improve that? And then following the meeting, 211OC will be emailing each agency their performance data and giving them instructions on how to correct data quality issues. And then if there's any feedback from the group on how to improve performance, we'll include that also. And so then we will work with each agency on correcting their performance data. 5 months following that meeting, we will do the analysis again and we will share any progress or updates at the data meeting. And then this will be a year-round process. So what you're looking at now is by project type, what measures we will be looking at. If a cell is blank, it's because that project type is not going to be looking at that measure. But each cell has what the threshold is for that measure in that project type. So that's where it is now. At the data meetings, we will be looking at these thresholds also and deciding if we think they need to be changed at all. But this is what they are for now. And just as a reminder, the data and performance management meetings occur on the second Thursday of the month from 1:30 to 3 in the CASA training room, which is here at the Village. You can see the schedule of project types that we will be reviewing. In September, we're starting with permanent supportive housing and other permanent housing. So those projects have time to review and correct our data prior to the NOFA, the next NOFA. And then we'll be getting into rapid rehousing and the rest of the project types. And the reporting period will be for the year prior to the month we're doing the review. So for example, for permanent supportive housing, the meeting is in September. We'll be looking at data from September 2017 through August 2018. Any questions on that? Looks like no so far. So I'm going to move on. Let me unmute. Casey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, can I share my screen, Erin?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So we wanted to start kind of highlighting any new knowledge base articles that we publish in the month prior to the user meetings. Usually we will write a new knowledge base article if we get like a couple of tickets about the same issue. We might just write an article about it. That way we can link to it the next time the issue comes up. And sometimes those articles can kind of get lost in the shuffle. So we will publish a list like this every month of new knowledge base articles that we've written for you guys to check out. So for example, one of the common questions that we get in the help desk is the difference between individual enrollments and group enrollments. And usually this comes up because someone who is in a family has accidentally been given an individual enrollment. So this article goes over how we fix that. So things like that. And as always, if you guys have any suggestions about knowledge base articles that you want us to write, please let us know. So our next thing is we are now publishing the COC board reports on OCHMIS.org. This is data presented to the COC board every month, and you can visit it, or you can see them by going to OCHMIS.org, hovering over the reports menu, and clicking on COC board reports. This first link is a document that has a detailed description of each of the measures and how they're calculated. So you can look at that before you look at the reports so that you can understand the data. And then every month we will publish the board reports here, and then we started doing quarterly reports in Q2 of this year. So this is the latest one. And this is data from the month of July 2018, and it was presented at the August data meeting. So every month at the COC board meeting, data from the previous month is presented so that you guys are given a chance to correct, like do your monthly data quality cleanup and stuff like that before we run the numbers. So this is what it looks like. These will continue to be available on OCHMIS.org. And this is kind of a similar format to what we'll be presenting at the data meeting that Erin was talking about. Erin, are there any questions? I can't see the chat box.
I'm not seeing any, no.
Okay.
All right. Can you stop sharing, Casey?
Yes, theoretically.
Wait, maybe I can just take it.
I think you can because I can't see. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
All right. Unlock Chris.
Okay, all right. Hey. All right, hello everyone. I'm just here to talk about the HMIS user survey. We received a record number of responses this time, and your feedback is very crucial to improving our HMIS experience overall. And we would like to thank you so much for your insightful responses. They were really great. And so I just want to quickly note that 80% of users who took the survey say that they are having a more positive experience with HMIS now that we've made the transition to Clarity. We are very happy to hear this and are hoping that we can sustain this level of satisfaction going forward. Okay, Erin, can you go to the next slide, please? Okay. So we have read, discussed, and strategized ways to implement some of your suggestions. And so we'll be undergoing changes to increase overall consistency with our communication methods. We are going to improve our OCHMIS.org website overall. We got to note that some information on there is outdated, and we're going to try to update it more frequently. As you can see on your screen, that we have a surprising number of daily and weekly visitors to our website, and so we want to make sure that we have the most relevant recent content to provide you guys as you come onto our website. So just stay tuned for that. And we are also going to increase the number of HMIS training videos and demonstrations so you guys can better learn the system. Casey also mentioned that we'll be providing a list of knowledge-based articles as they are written, so we can provide those to you guys. And then finally, we will be undergoing the process of translating forms and documents into Vietnamese. So it gives us time to kind of set this up. We still have to strategize how we're going to do that, but we are looking toward getting forms and documents translated into Vietnamese. Okay, and the last slide, please, Erin. Okay. And so we received your feedback in terms of the style of user meetings that we could have. It seems like everyone's relatively neutral on the style of the meetings, and so we won't be making any immediate changes. But if you're having trouble attending the user meetings, please let us know. Send us a ticket, shoot us an email, and we'll follow up with you and see if you want to suggest a better time, suggest us a better time, and we'll collect your feedback and see if we down the road we'll want to make any changes. Okay. Actually, and Erin, I have one more slide to talk about the user agreements. Okay. And so updated user agreements are now available in Clarity HMIS if you weren't aware. Agency administrators, you no longer have to submit user agreements or acknowledgement forms via Happy Fox tickets. That's no longer necessary. When a user completes all of their trainings, and we get notification and we send them their login information, there's a signature that users can sign in upon their initial login. They'll scroll down, they'll click on a button that says I agree to, et cetera, and that will be in lieu of the user agreement and acknowledgement form. And that's it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, hi everyone. So if you guys haven't already seen the email, Agency Administrator Training is now available on the OC HMIS training website. And so for this training, all HMIS users that have been designated as an agency administrator must complete the training. If everyone could please try to complete the training by September 30th. Any agency administrator who have not completed training by the 30th will not be able to receive technical support from HMIS Help Desk until the training is complete. So again, please try to complete them by end of this month. And then once you complete the training, please enter a ticket with the HMIS Help Desk. And then also just a reminder that in order to take the training, you must already completed HMIS Part 2 training. And then really quick on agency audit update. Sometime this month, all agency administrator will be receiving an email from 201 OC regarding the audit scheduling. So please be on the lookout for that email. And then that's it for me.
Okay, I'm not seeing any questions, so I hope everybody is really understanding clearly what's happening. All right, so let me find Adriana. Adriana? Adriana?
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, this is a pretty exciting update. So you know that it's been a really long time since we published data quality report cards. And we all know that this is basically due all the problems that we had with reports before the migration. But now that we are in clarity, we can finally take advantage of the pretty awesome reporting tools that they have. So with that being said, we are planning to sending you a data quality correction file that is looking at your data from 7/1/17 to 6/30/18, which was the report period in which we didn't publish any report cards. So it's a very big chunk of time, but as I said, is that period of time where we didn't look at this data quality. So basically what you're gonna receive from us is a Excel file with all your data from this report period for all your projects. And you're going to be able to see all the errors that your data have highlighted. And they're going to be highlighted based on error type. So this means that each type of error will be highlighted in a different color, which is actually the colors that we can see right now in this slide. So we thought this will be useful because it would be easier to visually see the types of errors that you have. So in that way, it will be easier for you to identify the errors and then go to HMIS and do the pertinent corrections that you need to make according to your errors. So just to clarify, there are 3 types of errors. So the first one is when we have client doesn't know and client refuse. So remember that that is considered an error, and that will be highlighted in yellow. The second one is when we have missing information, and this could be because we have a blank in the field in HMIS, or it could also be because we have selected data not collected in the field. And the third, and probably the most complicated type of error is when we have data issues, and this could be because we have inconsistent or invalid information. So another thing that I want to point out here is that the data that will be included in this correction file is going to be consistent with the data quality report. So basically, we're going to be looking at the same data elements, which for the most part are the universal data elements. So expect an email from us with important information, detailed information about how to read that file, how to understand the file, and also we are also going to send you guys like a guide that would help you to identify the errors that you have, mostly the data issues errors, because sometimes, as I said, the first 2 errors are pretty evident and pretty obvious to identify, but sometimes data issues are not very obvious or very intuitive. So if you guys see that there's like a cell in your data quality correction file that is highlighted in purple, you will go to the guide and you will pretty much see what might be the issue, what is the error that is causing that cell to be highlighted in purple. So expect that from all this information probably somewhere next week. And yeah, that will be pretty much it for data quality corrections. Is there any questions so far?
There was one question asking, if a client doesn't know or the client refuses to answer the question, how is that an error? It's not something we can fix.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is not up to us. This is very consistent with the data quality report, and the data quality report considers client doesn't know and client refuse as an error. So we understand it's not your fault per se, but it nonetheless is considered an error. So that's why we thought it was interesting to highlight the errors so you will see like what is the volume of errors that you have, or if, for example, you open the file and it's mostly like client doesn't know, client refuse, there's not much you can do about it. So there's no many corrections that you can do because it is what it is. That's what the data, that's what the client said. But on the other hand, if you have a bunch of blues, a lot of missing information, you can go and fix that on HMIS, and as well as if you have data issues.
And for the client doesn't know and client refused, you should still be reviewing those in case, because sometimes a wrong answer is selected, or maybe you're still working with the client and they are willing to provide that information now, or that really depends on the project type. But you still should give them a review to make sure that that's correct. But we do understand that there are cases when the client will refuse or they don't know the answer to the question. So
correct. Is there any other questions in this regard?
No. So I'm going to move on.
Okay. So let me share my screen. I'd rather share this looking at the website. So.
You want me to stop sharing?
Yeah, please. Thank you. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So talking about pretty useful reporting tools that Clarity has, we were able to create a dashboard with general statistics about the current state and the current size of our OC-HMIS. So we are planning to update this dashboard on a monthly basis, and you will find this on the reports section of our website. So you just go and click on reports, and this is where you're going to see these statistics. Okay, so the first version of the dashboard was for the month of August, and I wanted to share this with you. So the first chart that we have is the new enrollments by project type. And this is pretty much the number of new enrollments that were added in the month of August. So pretty intuitive there. The second chart that we have is the active clients by project type. And this is how many active clients do we currently have in the system as of August 31st of 2018. And again, this is also sorted by project type. Okay, the third one, I don't know if you guys can see it correctly, but if not, remember that you can click here and this will make the chart a little bit bigger so you could see the numbers better. So the third one is the participating projects in OC-HMIS, and it's pretty much saying how many projects we have currently in the system, also by project type. And what is interesting here is that it's showing us the proportion with the total of projects. And finally, we have the participating agencies in OC-HMIS, which currently is 40 active agencies for the month of August. And the last one is the unduplicated number of active clients, which for the month of August was 12,200 clients. So just to remind you to go here, this is pretty related to what Chris was saying, that we want to incorporate pretty interesting information that you guys can go to our website and check it out. So yeah, I would encourage you to check this on a monthly basis. Is there any questions?
I'm not seeing any questions.
Okay, just one last thing. If you think of something that you would like to see incorporated here about general statistics of our system, just please let us know, and we will also study the possibility of including this.
Okay, so I'm gonna take the screen back.
Okay, so let me stop share. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Elizabeth?
Hi, everybody. So I want to talk to you today about the satisfaction survey that we created. We have created a short 1-minute survey, and this survey is intended to assess how well our support via the ticketing system is meeting your needs. You will see a link to the survey after a ticket is solved, and we would like to ask you to please take a moment to take the survey when tickets are resolved. We appreciate your feedback, and we want to keep track of how well we are doing. So there's an image here of how a ticket should look once it's solved. There's a little note that says the ticket's been resolved. And then underneath there, there's a link that says, please click here to let us know if you're satisfied or dissatisfied with your HMIS experience. And Erin, can I have control of the screen so I can show people what the survey looks like?
Sure. And just to clarify, you can take the survey every time a ticket is resolved. So if you had a really good experience, you can let us know that. And then if on another ticket you didn't have a good experience, you can let us know that also. It doesn't have to be a one-time response.
Okay, so can you all see the survey here? Okay, so it's very short, and then this, like Erin said, this survey is meant for us to be able to assess how your support was for that particular resolved ticket. So you can take it every time you have a ticket solved, and it just asks you how satisfied you are with the support you received, and then if you're not satisfied, we have this little comment box for you to let us know why, and that'll help us just better assess how well we're doing with the tickets. And now we can move on to the next slide. So the HMIS user survey that Chris was just talking about asked about training materials that would be helpful to you. And out of the 10 suggestions that we received, 4 people requested an explanation of the canned reports that are in Clarity. So we wanted to take this opportunity to remind you that we have a webinar that covers reports available in Clarity. The Clarity reporting webinar goes over the reports that we think are most relevant, considering the questions that we received through the ticketing system, and also the types of reports that were available in the old system. So this webinar covers reports that monitor data quality, staff activity, services by client, entry data responses, such as the enrollment screen, lists of active clients, and then also some federal reporting reports, such as the APR and the CAPER. So this webinar is available on the OCHMIS website. So if you want to check out the webinar, you can go to that website, and I'll show you how to access it. So if you go here under HMIS Help, and then click on HMIS Training Materials, you'll see it at the very bottom of the screen, a link to it. So this is the HMIS reporting webinar. And it goes over several reports. I can show you here the agenda of the reports that are covered. And if you still have questions about reports, you can ask us, just send in a ticket. But we believe that these reports will cover most of your data needs. Okay, so that's it about the reports webinar. And I wanted to go over one of the reports in particular because we get a lot of questions about this report. So the old system of HMIS used to have a web page within the system where you could find a list of your active clients. But in Clarity, you must run the program roster report to get the list of the clients. And we have created a Knowledgebase article that has all the steps on how to run this report. You can find it by searching active clients on our Knowledgebase. So this is the article, and it's gonna have all the steps that I'm gonna go over right now, and then some information about the parameters. But you could also find it from our website if you go to, let's see, where is it? If you go to the knowledge base from here, from the HMIS help desk, and then you type in active clients, it should come up. So here it is, viewing all clients in a program. So if you forget how to find it, you could just always go to the help desk and find it here through that tag. So I'm going to show you how to do this in Clarity. And again, these instructions are going to be in that article. So if you ever want to go over it, you can either watch this or you can check out the article. So what you want to do is just go over to the Launchpad icon and then click Reports. And then you want to expand the program-based reports library. And you want to click Run next to Program Roster. So you can select which program you want to look at the active clients for. So I don't know. I'm just going to select a few of these. And then you can choose active within report date range. So sometimes you just want to see people who are active today, and you can choose just today's date. But if you want to see a wider range, you can change the dates here. And then there's different options for output. The web page option, I'm sure you're all familiar with, will allow you to click on a client's name and go directly to that client. The PDF option is not, I don't think that one's really that useful, but then we have the Excel option where you can filter in. So I'm just going to use the web page option. And you just click OK, you wait for it to process. Mine's taking a while, I think, because I chose a lot of projects. So this is the web page option. It shows you the clients that were active during the period. So I chose from the beginning of August until today, but you can change those dates just today or whichever period you're interested in. And it will show you all your clients and then the different projects if you selected more than one project. And if you find somebody here who you know should have been exited, you can click on the name. It'll take you to that person's profile, and then you can go into the programs and exit them or any sort of data cleanup that you'd like to do. So it's a little bit more involved than it used to be in the old system, but you'll get used to it, I guess. You just go to the reports page and run the report, and you get all the information that you used to be able to get. Okay, so that's it for me.
Okay, can you just switch to the QA slide?
Yes.
All right, so now is the time if you have any questions that you would like us to discuss, maybe show you how it works in Clarity, we can do that now. We had a question come in. Under Manage Household, we are to assign the relationship of each household member. However, with the head of household, there's no self option. So when there is a head who has a spouse and children, what title are we to assign to the head? Mother, father, or wife, husband? When assigning the head's role, to whom are we assigning that role based from? Okay, so this goes back to what we were talking about at a previous user meeting, how there are global households and there are project households. So let me kind of show you what the difference is. Okay, so right now I am on Little Hulk's profile page. So it's just showing me who his household members are, which includes the Incredible Hulk. On this page, you can put in the relationship, which is different from the relationship that's on the profile page. So you'll see that we have Incredible Hulk is not set, and then Little Hulk is the son. You can change the member type here, but this is not what is used in reporting. This is just for the global household. So really, it's just in relation to who else is in the household. It's not a exact science because it's not a HUD standard field. So you can choose one of your options here. But once you get into the actual program, this includes the actual relation status that is used by HUD. I think I need Little Hulk. So you'll see here that Incredible Hulk is the adult or head of household for the enrollment, and then for Little Hulk, it just showed relation status. Let me try a different project. Let me see. This might be a setup thing that on the training site. The questions are there and then they're disappearing. But there's a question on the enrollment screen that's asking for the relationship status of any other family members, and that is what the HUD data is looking at. And that's based on the relationship to whoever your head of household is. So in this case, head of household is Black Panther. So it'd be based on the relationship to that client. Let me go back to the Hulk. And if you need to change your head of household for that project enrollment, you can do that here on the right. So you'll see Incredible Hulk is the head of household, and Little Hulk is head of household's child, and that's specific to the project enrollment. The relation status on the profile screen is not used for reporting purposes. So under the global household, is there a preference on how to assign the head to other members? Let's go back. Not really. We can check with BitFocus and see if they had an intention for this field, because that was kind of our thought too, is that it's not very clear and probably isn't even necessary for the global household, since once you go into the actual enrollment is where you have to choose their relation status. I would kind of prefer to hide this whole member type field. We'll have to see if that's something we can do, or if BitFocus has a specific way that we should be answering that question, because yeah, I agree, it's not that clear. I would think if there was two adults, for now, their member type would be in relation to each other. So one would be husband, one would be wife, and then the kids would all be son, daughter, whatever the case may be. That looks like all the questions right now. Is there other questions? Any clarifications you need, or something you'd like to see done? All right, it seems like questions have stopped. If you haven't already, please add your agency's name to the chat so we know which agencies are present. And we will be having another user meeting next month. I believe that one is in person. We'll include it for the minutes and send a follow-up email so everyone has the date and time, but I'm pretty sure that one's in person in October. We have the same issue reading the forms. Yes. All right, so thanks for watching, everybody. We will work on the relation status question for the global household and provide an update on that as well. Other than that, please enter tickets to the help desk if you have any questions, and please plan to attend the data meeting for the permanent supportive housing performance data, as well as the next HMIS user meeting in October. Thanks for coming, everybody.